There we almost went in.
Hey, what's up, Dream Chasers?
Welcome back to the Extraordinary Sisters.
Today's adventure is day what?
5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In Clayton, New York. If you want to see what our adventure for today is, you're just going to have to follow along because I'm not telling you. Are you?
It's scary.
It is not. Anyways, make sure you
Like and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
ding. Let's go.
Down the river. That is Pine Island. Coming up on our right, this is Gull Island. It's the one with all those dark birds on it, lacking a tree. The trees, back in the 1980s, there was at least 3 trees on Gull Island. It was a beautiful place to come out, watch the sunset, have a swim off your dock. One person, off your boat. One person took it a little bit too far and brought a hibachi, having hamburgers and hot dogs. We have those west winds. They kicked up. Sparks went into the trees. They started to smolder. But that's not what happened completely to those trees. Those dark birds are cormorants, and they can eat they are an invasive species, a waterfowl that can eat up to a pound of fish a day. The island ahead of us, this is Grindstone Island, and it is the Grindstone Island is the second largest island on the American side. The islands was, after the War of 1812, they were surveyed and divided into British and American islands. Canada ended up getting 2/3 of the islands, and we got 1/3. But it wasn't because they have more of, when they did the surveys, they looked at, or they added up the square acreage, and they divided it up so both countries had about the same acreage of land as each other. Grindstone, second largest island on the American side, and it does have year-round residents on it, about 5 of them. What it lacks than our other year-round island with year-round residents is there is no commercial way to get over to Grindstone Island. If you live over here, there is no bridge, there is no ferry service or shuttle service year-round to Grindstone Island. So if you live on Grindstone, during the summer, it's easy to cross the river by boat. In the winter, when the river freezes over, you have to have either a snowmobile, an ATV to go over the ice, or a punt. A punt's a flat-bottom boat with a big propeller on the back of it, and it pushes you forward. It's a long, cold, and very slow ride across the river, because you don't always go straight. You zigzag or snake along the ice. Eel Bay, fairly large, but shallow bay. The bay runs between 5 and 10 feet deep, and it will freeze over, and during the winter, when it does freeze over, you can see close to 1,000 ice shanties out here, and it's commonly referred to as Shantytown. Eel Bay is a great place, not just for our recreational sportsmen, but also for some of the Bass Pro will come down and fish Eel Bay during the tournaments. Now once again, we're off to our left is Grindstone Island. It has 2 state parks on it. We're coming up on the first one, which is Picnic Point. You can see the brown and white sign on the dock over there at about 11 o'clock. Picnic Point is day use only, carry in, carry out. And during the work week, a lot of times you'll see a charter fishing group over there having a shore meal. Up to your right, there's a pair of loops in the water resting. But Tweeder Bay over here, that large white swan with the big orange beak. if you were to look all the way around the boat right now, everything we can see are islands. American islands to the front, or the left, right, and rear of the boat, and the Canadian islands to the front. Now, Canoe Point, even though it's a campground, everything you need if you're camping over here at Canoe Point is coming over by boat. Your tents, your food, everything you need comes over with you, and everything you've used and need to throw out goes back with you at the both carry in, carry out parks. The first ones will be the Lake Fleet Islands, and the second ones will be the Admiralty Islands. Grindstone is rather unique. It has 2-mile-long gashes that make the island, it divides the island into 3 equal parts. The first one starts in Delaney Bay and goes into the first third of the island. The second one is down a bit. We may be able to see where it is. It'll as we continue down. Depends on where a houseboat sits that we want to show you today. But it is the island is divided into 3 parts: mid, upper, and lower Grindstone. There is roadways on the island that you can drive around on, and your boats come over, or your automobiles come over by barges or landing crafts. Finalized until 1822, and that was after Owen William Fitzwilliams was sent out to do a survey, to survey all the islands and count them. He's the one that surveyed, added all the to the acreage, and then they divided them into 3 British and American islands. Off to the front right is the start of the Lake Fleet Islands. Captain Owens called the Lake Fleet Islands, or named the islands after warships that British vessels that were used. They were named after captains, named after the British vessels that were used in the War of 1812 and the Revolutionary War. Edmonton Island, named after a gunboat, and that too is part of the Thousand Island Park. We're going to cut close into Grindstone Island so you can see the yacht barge. The yacht barge is a large houseboat sitting on, it's a large pontoon houseboat. There's windows on all 4 sides. The owners of it have family members on both sides of Grindstone, so when they want to visit, they just take their house and float over or drive over to the other side of the island. As we come through this channel, you'll meet swans over on our right side with some cichlids, little younger or adolescent swans. Or yacht barge. It's powered by twin 175 Mercs. And like I said, they move. Nice thing about living on a yacht barge like that, no property tax, and you can move or drive wherever they want, visit their families, and bring their home with you.
Canada.
This Niagara Island, it's named for a 22-gun wooden frigate, the British flagship Lafayette Art Institute of Brooklyn. We'll be going past the first modern home of North America to incorporate steel and concrete. It was built in 1903, and it was designed by, I gotta make sure I know, John Walter Weed. We'll be able to see it up in the trees right now. And back when it was built,
I thought it was
they
two.
stuck to the customs of the dining at specific times, having being dressed to dine, and to this day they still continue to do the same customs that they would do back in 1903. On our right side when we make this turn, that is Wyoming Island. Wyoming is one of two islands named after a state in the two islands named after states over in the United States. Wyoming's the first, and will pass the second in the next fleet of islands. How to pronounce Gananoque? There's the right way, the wrong way, and Gananoque.
Back in 2019, we explored Gananoque.
We'll be going right down the side of Gananoque in a little bit as we tool through the Emeraldy Islands. After the War of 1812, after the islands were all divided, did you ever know that there was a skirmish on Grindstone Island? It was called the Timber War. Grindstone Island originally started off as a British island. It was after the survey was completed, it was given to the Americans. But during that time, they had used, the Canadians and the British, they had cut the trees down to use them as building supplies. When Grindstone was awarded to the American side, the British wanted the trees. They did all the hard work, and as the U.S. troops, as the U.S. militia was coming from Sackett, the trees were floated across the river to Canada, to the mainland. There was one person that was wounded during the skirmish because the British brought troops over. Americans came from the front of the island, hiked through the marshlands. An American slipped as he was hiking, and he ended up shooting himself. As the only wounded or only gun fired during that skirmish, the British left and took the logs with them. That was the war, or what is known as the Timber War, or the skirmish on Grindstone Island. They're known as Thorntway, depending on how old your charts are. This is the site of a military convalescent hospital back in World War II. The original owner, there was a summer home for Mr. and Mrs. Ira Camp, and in 1917, they donated the island and the camp to the Canadian government to become a convalescent hospital. Now a lot of the island is part of the Thousand Island Park. I'm sorry, that one we go.
We'll see when we get to it.
We have Julie Island. I have to wait to see what the name because it's changed. Julie Island off to our right, and right behind it is Huckleberry Island. Coming up a little small channel or bridge connecting the two islands here. Huckleberry and Little Huckleberry off to the front left of the boat. They're both once owned by Robert Forthy, who used them for mining granite. I'll tell you why I'm laughing. Up to the right, that house, that is the cottage with 5 kitchens. Mrs. Kitchen, Mr. Kitchen, and 3 little kitchens. Now, before I knew that, years ago, the captain told me that was the island with 5 kitchens. And I thought exactly what you guys thought. And so I started to tell it, he goes, no! It's Mr. and Mrs. I go, oh, truth in tourism, is it?
Well, that concludes our adventure for today.
We barely made it out alive.
Oh
Totally.
man, it's scary. We almost went in. Did you see the waves?
That's why for tears. Anyways, make sure if you guys like this series, make sure you
Like and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
ding.
Don't be afraid to follow a dream.
We will see you here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're here. Have an extraordinary day. Bye.